I had a few comments on one of my trip report videos asking if they could hear more about the exotic tryptamines that I've experienced. So I wanted to talk about my experiences with DipropylTryptamine, or DPT. So this is actually going to be an interesting video, or it's going to be different because I'm going to talk about a different route of administration that I tried. So I tried, this was actually the first tryptamine that I tried IVing. Not IM, not intramuscular injection, but but through like actual vein. Because I'll tell you how I basically got to the option of trying that. I was in sort of the rave scene, like the Toronto rave scene a bit, and IV ketamine is really big there. So like a lot of my friends were like pretty much experts with IV stuff. So like my friend, he was probably only like 15, 16 at the time. He already had like a professional like IV kit and everything. So he was ready to go with like, he probably had like 50 spare syringes or something. So he was pretty hardcore into it. And we had a few other or I think one other guy that helped us with the actual injections, because I didn't know how to do it. It was like my first time, so they were letting me try IMK for a bit, and I don't remember if I tried IV and K, but I'll sort of talk about that later. I wanted to just talk about the tryptamine that I tried. So DPT is the only tryptamine that I've actually IV'd. I've really wanted to try IVing DMT, because I heard that was, you know, a way more sort of intense route of administration. But I have to say that I don't know if it was because the DPT was old and oxidizing or something, because the color of it was, if I remember, it was like reddish orange. So maybe it wasn't pure enough, but it worked for like IM, like it didn't clog or anything like that. So but I don't recommend anyone like trying to IM or IV, you know, tryptamines that they've ordered online, because you don't know what's in it. Like, you want it to be as pure as possible. This was sort of reckless on my end, so I don't really recommend it. But I'll get sort of onto the experience. So the dose was 60 milligrams of the hydrochloride salt, and I have to say that it's not as potent as DMT, or at least the batch that I had. I'm wondering, like, I've talked to other people and they said that they heard about the batch that I have and it wasn't as potent, so maybe, but it definitely wasn't at the level of DMT. Like, DMT, I find, is a lot more powerful. Like, DMT will actually bring you out of body and into, you know, alien realms, and I felt that DPT at 60 milligrams IV didn't really take me anywhere far. The onset was pretty well instantaneous. Like, I remember getting the specific sort of tribal like closed-eyed visuals. So the walls sort of looked like it was it had really strong patterning like associated with it. Like, it looked very electric. Like, I remember, if I had to give like a color to the experience, it felt kind of red. Like, there was a red sort of tint to my overall vision, and the walls had that tribal like pulsating patterning. It's hard for me to describe it. Like, it's better when I show sort of visuals of it, but that's why I try to draw it when I can. But yeah, it didn't get me out of body. Like, I was grounded into my you know, the room that I was in, and that could be because I was surrounded by people and it was bright out, so maybe it was too much distraction, because usually with my DMT out of body experiences, I'm alone, so I can really sort of focus in on my experience. But I remember it lasting for maybe 2 hours or so, and then it would start to come down. I was also on K as well, so like that contributed to it. But I've tried it on its own just by snorting it, which is it's pretty unpleasant to snort. Like it tastes pretty awful, and like some people throw up from it. But I had roughly a similar experience. It's not really a chemical for me that I can do much soul searching with. Like it felt more recreational. I know that the Church of Inner Light, I think it's in New York, they use it as their sort of sacrament, or their sort of tool for getting into the spirit worlds. But I think that DMT is a much more worthy endeavor. Like it gets you much further, at least in my experiences. And I was hoping that DPT was going to be intense, because it sounds so close to DMT. Like it's just a P instead of M. So I was really hoping for it, but I wasn't too impressed. But if anyone else experienced it, I want to know your experiences, because I want to know if you got out of body with it. Because I've talked to people on Shroomery that said that it was like on the level of DMT, but I didn't experience that. Maybe it wasn't a high enough dose, but because I did over 100 milligrams when I snorted it, so, and it still wasn't out of body. But that's about it. So have a good night.